Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope everybody's having a good morning so far. I'm drinking my coffee, trying to wake up. Good morning, babe. Good morning, Mr. Ty. Good morning, William. Um, I'm just sitting here chilling, drinking my coffee. Uh, Good morning, Game Pop Jenny. How you doing? How's everybody doing this morning? Hey, Mr. Jasper. Good morning. Hope you're having a good morning. Hope everybody waking up and you ain't half asleep. Because I know sometimes I be. Uh, Yesterday we took care of the thing. They basically had to, what ended up happening is they had to cut my son had a tooth that was in the gum and it was being stubborn and didn't want to come out. So they had to cut into the gum, release the tooth, and then they had to basically attach this thing so it attached to his braces and pull it down slowly but surely. And so, yeah, I told him, I said, the good thing about this, though, is the last time you have be cut on. Should be, you shouldn't have to have anything else done like that. It'd just be getting your braces tightened. So he's like, yay. Well, what did everybody do yesterday? What did all I miss, y'all? Because y'all know I was not on these streets for most of the day yesterday. Anything crazy go down? Whew, I'm still waking up yawning. Whew. Mm, that coffee's so good. Anybody got any plans for this afternoon? Anybody know of anything they're gonna be doing? And also, how's the kitty, Miss Jenny? Oh my God, that video was so cute. I know he's so spoiled. You just woke up like 10 minutes ago. I've been up for over an hour, but y'all know I have to go take before I do my live. I have to go take the puppy dogs out and let them do their morning business and feed them all breakfast. They have to get their breakfast, and and once they eat their breakfast, then Bailey has to be told she's a good girl because she ate her breakfast. Because she has to be told that she's laying down now, being a sweet baby, and they're all late. They all went back to bed. Ain't that right, but no, no, no. It's okay. Because you should see. I know you want Mama to rub your chest. I know, so beautiful, so tired. Mama's baby. Y'all to see how pitiful she's been. I know. I know. Mm, they're so tired. You ought to see the eyes. She's like, I'm so tired. Even though she literally just woke up. Hey, Miss Angela, how are you doing? Good morning, beautiful. I hope you're having a good day. I hope that today goes amazing for you. Bailey's being pitiful. Oh my God, Morris discovered his cell phone camera. How's your new kitty doing, Miss Angela? Is he doing okay? How's he doing? He's such a cute little fluff ball. He really is. He's the cutest little thing, I swear. I we've got our neighbor has a dog that they're watching. It's basically their daughter's dog, but basically they're taking care of it right now. And he is a big old floof ball. And he come over yesterday. We call him Smiley. I have to ask the neighbor what his name is. He's a big sweet boy. Their other little pup always comes to visit too. And they know when they go to missing her that she's over here because she thinks that the sunset rises in my father and she wants to be where he's at. And she tries to steal the cat's food all the time because I have an outdoor cat on the front porch and we keep his food and water dish on the front porch, right? He's a wild cat, but we domesticated him. Um, so he stays out on the front porch and his name's Bob. And the big old huge Great Pyrenees dog is scared of the little bitty cat. Mm, Oh, look, he took the whole bench and made you sit on top of the cooler. You know you got him spoiled, Jenny. You know you got him spoiled. Miss Jenny, you got him so spoiled. I know Miss Angela's got that little baby spoiled, and he's probably already got all kind of toys. I know it. I just know it. I know he's already spoiled. Okay, Brew. Brew just literally made me move the computer so he could get under the blanket. I will say over time he will. I have one that's grumpy like that, Miss Angela. I have one that's grumpy like that. He don't like nobody. And it just takes him a little bit longer than it does the others. Like the others warm up really quickly, but he's more like, I don't know about this situation right now. I think the more that he interacts, the more, and he pays attention to the fact that you're okay with the kitten and everybody else with, eventually he'll warm up to him. Um, but usually that's the way it goes with the dogs that are more standoffish. It's because they don't trust it yet. They're like, I don't know about this yet. I don't know this. I don't know if I want to even be okay with this, you know? And my dog Boomer is like that. Like he don't want he didn't want nothing to do with Duchess for the first few weeks that we had her. And I mean it took weeks, if not over a few months. He didn't really want much to do with her. He didn't want to play with her. He didn't want to talk to her. But then over time, you know, right now it's just watching him with the kitten and um letting him like come to the kitten in his own time, because he just is one of the ones that's like, I don't know if I accept you yet. Which can be a good thing, Miss Angela. That means he thinks about it. Like he's really highly intelligent, so he's like, I don't know about this too much, you know. um that's the way one of my pups is. Like it's not that he'll try to attack anything like that. He just don't want nothing to do with him. He does. He warmed up pretty quickly to Bailey. It only took him a day or two, but even still, he ignored her for the first week. Didn't want nothing to do with her. But he warmed up to her pretty quickly. But when Duchess came, he didn't want nothing to do with her for a few months. And then eventually, now they're besties and they play together all the time. And I watched them to make sure he didn't do nothing, but I didn't get on to him. I didn't spank him. I didn't do none of those things. I didn't, put him in timeout. Um, I let him just, you know, slowly but surely warm up to her. He could also be is he a male? He's a male, right? Yeah, it also has to deal with his dominance. Some male dogs, and that's what Boomer's thing is, thinks he rules the roost with everybody. Boomer thinks he rules the roost with everybody, and everybody has to listen to him, and he's in charge. So that may be what it is. I understand the kitten's too young right now, but eventually, if you'll let him, I hate to say it, let him bark at the kitten, he'll give up, and he'll stop doing it. As long as you just have to watch and make sure you don't try to attack, right? But you know what I'm saying. It could be jealousy too, Miss Angela. Yes, it could be. My pup is very jealous of me, and every time we get a new pup, I'm the one that has to introduce him and love and show that. And I have to tell him, and maybe this is something you should tell your puppy, when pet both of them at the same time, right? Him and the kitten, and go, I want you to tell you something. No matter how much mommy gives others love, you'll always be mommy's baby. Know that mommy has enough love in her heart for all of you. That's what I had to tell mine, because I guess he was afraid. Um, I guess he was like afraid that he was not going to be the baby anymore, if that makes sense. He did the same thing when his little brother come in the house. He didn't want nothing to do with him for the first, like, he didn't want nothing to do with him. Then I looked at him and I told him, I said, no, look, I said, your little brother here, he needs you to be a big brother, and he needs you to protect him and take care of him. And yes, you got a new responsibility, but you're never going to not be mama's baby, right? I said he needs you to protect, and he took that shit seriously. See, that just shows that I'm gonna tell you this, Miss Angela, him above all your other Yorkies, He's the most intelligent one. That's why he's like he is, if that makes any sense. A lot of the highly intelligent ones are like that. Hey, Miss Coffee No Creamer. A lot of the more highly intelligent dogs are like that for some reason. They're very standoffish of new animals. You know what I'm saying? And they can be very possessive of their person. Um, and I'm his person. Oh, thank you, Miss Coffee. I'm glad that it came back to you, baby, and I'm glad that this one showed up. I'm glad that it didn't take your money because I hate when that happens to and stuff like that. Thank you, beautiful. I'm glad you didn't get got because I can't stand for my people to get got. You know what I'm saying? Like I try to protect y'all, and they ain't gonna take y'all's money. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what it is, Miss Angela. It's his intelligence level. And I believe if you actually sit down and have a real conversation with him, because he can understand, contrary to popular belief, dogs understand us very well. And you sit down and tell him, said, look, he's little. You need to help protect him and take care of him. That'll play to his protective side, right? And he'll actually start to accept the kitten more and want to protect the kitten. Like, you're supposed to help protect him. Look how little him is. You're bigger, and you help, and him didn't have a good home, and now we're going to show him what real love is. And can you help me? And I promise you, you'll see a difference in his like demeanor, right, towards the kitten. And tell him he's the kitten's big brother, and he has to help protect the baby, and that it's a little bitty baby, and he's got to help protect it. And I promise you, it's crazy how smart they are. Because when I told that to Boomer about Bruiser, it was like a 180 change. Like he would snap at him, didn't want him near him. And I was afraid of the same thing, Miss Angela, because Boomer, he's a little bit mean, and he will bite, and he does growl, and he ain't playing. But when I told him that had that, I swear to God, it was like a 180 change. Hey, Miss Jill, how you doing? Hey, Classy Colt, beautiful. Hey, Mr. William, how you doing this morning? But yeah, I'm telling you, dogs are extremely brilliant animals. A lot of people will try to tell you that a dog can't understand. No, that's bull crap. I've seen way. I taught my dog how to smile. Okay. And I taught him, I said, show me your twofers, smile for mommy. And if he didn't straight up do it, I ain't sitting here. Now, some dogs are more intelligent than others. Some dogs are goofy. It doesn't mean they're not intelligent. They're just goofy as shit. A lot of dogs have big hearts, and some, and just like with Boomer, I can literally tell him I'm ashamed of his behavior, and he will put himself in timeout. Oh, it breaks his heart. He'll put himself in timeout if I'm upset with him and tell him I'm just ashamed of your behavior. You did not mind mommy, and he'll go put himself in timeout. Oh yeah. Then he'll come to me about an hour later after pouting and putting himself in timeout. And I'll tell him, well, if you would have listened to mommy, you wouldn't have got in trouble, right? And I'll give him kisses and love and all that. Hey, Watcher Boo. Good morning. Good morning. Also, I want to know who Geraldine's got her eyes on this morning. I saw the videos. I don't know why when I saw that video, I was thinking about, you know how somebody take their two fingers and they'll put it on their eyes and then point it at the person and point it back to us. I had a thing of Geraldine doing that. I see you. But animals are super intelligent. And yeah, you run streets and you make sure you have a good appointment this morning and you be careful, okay? And if you have a dog or a cat and they don't want, yeah, he's a sensitive baby, and he really is. Like that, if you ever want to make him mine, that's the best way to do it. Nothing else works. And he's a big, sensitive, loving boy, but he has an attitude. And if he gets woke up early in the morning and somebody's trying to wake him up and he don't want to get up, he'll growl at them and he'll be, "Rrr." We call him the grumpy old man. Um, and if your dogs start alerting like you've never seen before, like your dogs start showing aggressiveness that they've never had towards a person, you might want to look into that person, because dogs can sense when a person means you know well, and dogs can sense when a person has bad intent. I'm telling you, if your dog just all of a sudden starts acting weird towards somebody for no apparent reason, and like they're very like they don't want the person to touch them, growly, like hunches go up, the back of their hair on their neck stands up, that person has ill intent. Dogs can sense that shit, I'm telling you. Pay attention to your animals. They sense evil, and they sense when somebody has, like, even if the person's not necessarily a bad person, but they have ill intent towards you, that dog can somehow tell it. And pay attention to your animals. You're listening to the appeal of Adam Montgomery. Hey, Miss Justice, is he trying to appeal again? Yeah, they can also sense when you're sick. Also, if your dog starts like sniffing a certain part of your body more than normal, like really pinpointing a specific spot, like your side, your leg, your kneecap, your, like, any part of your body, and just all of a sudden really starts focusing on it. Even if they try to flee it and it's just that they won't leave that one spot on and they keep trying to go back to it, a lot of the times they're sensing something there. You need to get it checked out, because dogs can also sense, like if you see a dog that's never paid attention to somebody and all of a sudden they're stuck up their butt, don't want to leave them, something's wrong. They can sense cancer and smell it. They can sense things that others cannot. Like if they all of a sudden, let's say it's a dog that, let's say you have a cousin that the dogs like, but they don't really go up to them much. But all of a sudden this dog doesn't want to leave their side, sleeps by them at night, cuddles up with them, and starts like really sniffing their breath a lot and doing those things. Pay attention. Dogs alert on a lot of things. Hey, Mr. Jim Connie, the best Jim, the only Jim that ever was, ever will be. I can't believe Adam Montgomery's crazy yet. That dude, that dude pisses me off. I hope and pray he don't, because if that motherfucker, what he did to that baby, I hope he never gets out. Yeah, it's something about it. The dogs can smell it, and if dogs lick you, and I'm gonna explain to you why. When they lick your hand, believe it or not, they're trying to sense your emotions. And it's not just dogs do that to each other to clean each other and love each other. So they are trying to love you, but at the same time, they're also, if they feel like you feel bad, they'll try to do that to make you feel better. It's their thing, like, you know what I'm saying? That that's their way of showing love, and that's their way of cleaning you and taking care of you, because they know you don't feel well. And so when they're in a pack, right, and this goes back to their it's not upbringing, it's what the word I'm looking for, like things we still have ingrained in us, right, even though many generations down, it's ingrained in them from being where they used to be wild, right? So when an animal's in a pack, and dogs are in packs, right, they lick each other, and they do those things, and take care of each other. And if one of them is sick, they'll usually try to bathe them and do things for them, because they can't do it for themselves. And another reason they want to go to the bathroom with you all the time, and they want you to look at them when they're pooing, is because that's when they're at their most vulnerable, just like when you're at your most vulnerable. And they're looking to see if you're going to protect them, from other things, because that's what they actually do when they're in a pack. That's how they look out for each other when they're in their most vulnerable state, right? They're really vulnerable when they're using the bathroom, so they're looking for you for protection. So when they think you're in your most vulnerable position, they're protecting you. They call themselves protecting you. And sometimes they get stage 5 clingers. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to be away from you. Yeah, instincts. Thank you, Mix. Good morning, also beautiful. It's in their instincts to do that. That's because they call themselves protecting you, Miss Angela. They know you're at your most vulnerable state, so they're going to protect you. You're part of their pack. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to protect you at all costs. And so that's why they do that. That's one of the reasons why they do that. A lot of people don't know that, and why they try to lick you and love you up when you're sick or you don't feel good is because that's what they do when they're in a pack. If one of their pack members are not taking care of themselves properly, they'll do it for them. And animals are extremely brilliant. Yeah, if you ever see your dog though, all of a sudden, like, you got the sweetest dog in the world. This dog never really growls. This dog don't really bark much. And all of a sudden this dog's hunches go up and it starts alerting and being very vicious. And you've never seen this dog do this to a specific person. Stay the fuck away from the person that they doing that to, because that is not a good person. That dog is alerting you to something you don't know about that other person, if that makes sense. They know something you don't know. You know what I mean? They can sense when somebody has ill intent towards you. I don't know how they do it. Don't ask. But somehow they know. They smart as hell. And if you ever see your dog, and I'm going to say this, dogs can see spirits and different things that we can't see. They're very, very in tune, right? So if your dog starts alerting to a specific room and you never see nothing there, but they're always staring in that room, there's probably a ghost in that room or something. They're very intuitive, very intuitive. And they can feel when a person has ill intent, has bad juju. I listen to my dogs. And I'm going to tell you something else. A dog will also tell you when a person's a real good person. I got a dog that don't like to go up to nobody. He's very shy, right? The only way you can win him over is I have to give you a treat and you have to hand it to him, right? Other than that, he's very shy. He won't come up to you. Not at first. It takes him a little while to warm up. But I seen him do this exactly one time. He ran up to my father-in-law and would not leave his side. He loves him. That dogs also let you know if a person is a good person. You know what I'm saying? Like if you have a dog that's very standoffish and kind of shy and doesn't like to meet new people, it's not that they don't like them. It's just they're kind of like, I don't know if you're good or bad yet. I'm going to watch you for a minute before I pass judgment, Or it's a shy dog, right? So he likes to hide behind things or stand by you and look around the corner at persons. If they all of a sudden run up to a person, is happy, waggy, taily, just wanting attention, does not want to leave them, that's a good person. Your dog's alert, that's a really good person. You know what I'm saying? They have no fear of that person whatsoever. Because one of my dogs, he's highly intelligent. So he's like really standoffish to new people, right? Really standoffish. He's like, I don't know if I like you yet or not. Give me a moment. And I've never had him alert bad, but I have had him alert to, um, I really like this person. Now I had one dog. It's crazy. I had these two sisters come over. He loved one of them, tried to jump in her arms. He was a very vicious dog. When company came over, he was a little chihuahua. Um, I named him Randy Orton. He was like the viper. He would strike. I had to put him up when company came over. He would try to. Sometimes he had very finicky personality. Well, when these two sisters came over, one of them touched him. He didn't mind it. He loved it. He laid indoor pets. The other one reached out to try to touch him. He tried to bite her ass. I had to tell her to get the hell away from him. I said, "Oh, he bites. Don't touch." Hey, Miss Catherine. He didn't like her, but that's the same woman that tried to do bad stuff to me. So that dog knew that was not a good person. And her sister was a good person. Her sister since passed away. She was an amazing woman, sweet as pie, good person, just an amazing human being. But dogs are extremely like, they know. You know what I mean? I love animals, though. I think our animals are just precious little cherubs. But anyway, how's everybody else doing? How's your mornings going? Everybody having a good morning? Everybody either at lunch break, on at work, getting ready for it. Uh, you know, how's everybody doing this morning? I'm drinking my coffee and it's amazing. I got to call up to my son's braces place. I made the appointment on the phone, and I think, and I'm not sure. I got to call up there, and we had to reschedule the appointment. I think it's because I remember it being on a Thursday, I believe, and I think it's next Thursday. But I got to call and make sure because, child, I I have so much to do on a daily basis. Sometimes it's hard to keep up when you have 16 appointments in 1 month, and he's done had 3 different teeth appointments in 1 month. So, yeah, my brain is fried, y'all. It really is. But I can't believe this mofo thinks he's gonna get a damn um an appeal. It's supposed to start at 9:30. It says the New Hampshire Supreme Court will hear an appeal from a Manchester man convicted of illing his 5-year-old daughter. Anne Montgomery is found guilty. We already know about that. In 2019, he was sentenced to 56 years, which to me, to life in prison is not enough. He needs more. Montgomery and his lawyer now want his conviction overturned. Their appeal focuses on 3 mistakes they believe the court made during his trial. The hearing is scheduled for Wednesday morning. I hope that motherfucker just rots in jail. Hold on. I'm gonna go ahead and we gonna watch this shit because I can't stand this mofo. Let me go over here. Let me do y'all know I gotta do my content disclaimer right quick. My copyright disclaimer. The copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976 allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise infringe. All right, now we're going to share the screen. All right, I got an ad going. Hold on. Oh. I may have to redo this right here and scroll down to the bottom because it just stuck for some reason. Let's see. Where did the video go now? Dude, Jesus, some of these damn. Some of these things. Let's see what's going on. Live video. Watch the hearing. And the player above. Where's the player? I don't see it. It says it's up here. Let's share this tab instead. Here we go. Is it gonna? It says 9:30 a.m. Well, it's 9:30 a.m. Should be coming up at any time. Because it's 9:33. I guess they ain't pulled it up yet, y'all. What up, way up, dude? How's your titties hanging? Hey, Miss Justice. Hey, watch a boo, girl. I saw that new movie that new video you just put up that it hit while I was live. I'm like, I want to go back and watch that. It's a short. Um, I guess this one ain't live yet. Um, I mean, it is live, but nothing's coming up. I guess because they're running a little late. I don't know. Child, let me see if I can find something else right quick from a different thing. Here we go. I'm going to Court TV. When in doubt, go to Court TV. You know what I'm saying? Court TV. It's still coming up. It ain't went live yet. That's what it is. Ain't went live yet. Oh, and also separate from his murder case, Adam was also unsuccessfully sought to appeal convictions in his weapons theft case. In 2023, he was convicted of 8 charges and sentenced to 30 to 60 years in prison for being an armed career criminal. In his appeal, Adam argued that testimony from the victim's wife was wrongly admitted over his hearsay objection that she had heard rumors that he had taken the firearms. So he unsuccessfully also sought that too, y'all. Mm-hmm. The New Hampshire Supreme Court ultimately denied that appeal in ruling dated August 27th, 2025, stating, viewed in the totality of the circumstances, we conclude beyond a reasonable doubt that the challenge test affect. Hold on, we do have something from Court TV over here. Hold on, y'all. We're gonna switch this over here to Court TV. Yeah, because Kayla was unreliable. Well, I hate to tell him, ain't nothing. You know what I mean? Mm-mm. Come on, stop being stupid. I hate when this happens. All right, let me.
Please be seated. The Hampshire Supreme Court is now in session. This is case 2024-0304, State of New Hampshire versus Adam Montgomery.
Good morning. For the record, Justice Hans Marconi is disqualified in this case. And Attorney Phelan, I understand you reserved 2 minutes for rebuttal.
Yes, I have.
Please proceed.
Good morning. May it please the court, my name is Pamela Phelan, and I am here on behalf of Mr. Montgomery. Today I'd like to talk about 3 issues. First, the court erred in joining the July 2019 assault charge with the homicide-related charges. Second, the court erred in admitting as intrinsic evidence of other assaults in the weeks prior to the homicide and of blocking communication between HM and her mother. And lastly, these errors were not harmless beyond reasonable doubt. I did raise another issue in my brief, and I'm happy to answer any questions about those, but I'm going to focus on these. The principal concern with these issues is that a defendant be tried on the merits of the charged act and not on propensity and character inferences that may be drawn from evidence of other acts and wrongs. On the first issue, the cases simply should not have been joined for trial. They were not logically and factually connected in a manner that does not solely rely or demonstrate the accused has a propensity to engage in criminal conduct.
What make a difference?
Go ahead.
Does it make a difference that the defendant had joined in the state's assented to motion for joinder in the first instance?
No, I don't. And the reason I don't is because my recollection is that the parties agreed to joinder early on in the pendency of the cases, and then as they neared trial, the defense moved to sever them for trial. The state did not contest that the defendant had a right to do that and to have the court look again
So if
at
it,
whether it should be
I guess
severed.
my question is, if it was in the best interest of justice at the moment the defendant agreed to join the cases, what changed?
What changed is I think through the as defense counsel said, through the development of the case in preparation for trial and additional information that was coming out about how the state was intending to present its case. And defense specifically referenced new discovery or new information in Zwicker letters that were being produced to the defense.
Are the Zwicker letters part of the record? Because I looked at the motion to sever, it references.
Good morning, Rayson. We watching this shit about Adam Montgomery and his he's trying to appeal his and overturn his conviction for what he did to Harmony Montgomery. And Miss Justice, we know that she follows this case very, very, very closely, and it's very close to her heart. So we are watching this right here.
The Zwicker letters, but I didn't see them in the appendix.
No, they are not. But defense counsel talked about what was in them and state's counsel when they argued the issue about whether the charges should be severed for trial. And at that point, the defense was primarily concerned not only from what was coming from the Zwicker letter, but in how the defense was perceiving the state's theory of the case going into trial, that this was going to be a trial about demonstrating a pattern of abuse. And that was going to be the prejudice that was going to result to Mr. Montgomery by having the charges continue to be joined for trial. And that was the principal concern that the defense had and articulated to the trial court below.
Did the new information include any information provided by Kayla Montgomery?
I believe one of the Zwicker letters did include information from her. I can't remember exactly which witnesses were involved in those.
What's the significance of the 2 different states of mind between the July assault and the murder, the reckless murder?
I'm not sure what.
In terms of this analysis, does the state of mind of the 2 different criminal acts have any bearing on our analysis for joinder?
I don't think so. I haven't thought about it in that way. I've thought about it in going through the Brown factor analysis that this court has articulated, as well as the tests that the court uses to determine interests of justice. I think the concern when you join those 2 cases together in this case is that you have evidence of the July assault which, as you note, did have a different mental state, a knowing mental state. But that evidence rested on several different witnesses who did not have credibility problems, whereas the homicide case rested on the testimony of Kayla Montgomery, and she had significant credibility problems. So to the extent that evidence came in through the joinder of these two cases for trial about and through witnesses, third-party witnesses without credibility problems, the July assault was much stronger. And to the extent that the jury likely had significant doubts about what Kayla's version of events were for December 7, which is when the homicide is alleged to have happened, the jury could very likely have relied on the strength of that assault charge case in resolving doubts against Mr. Montgomery on the homicide charge.
Counsel?
Yes.
So is it fair to say that the Zwicker letter changed the defense's calculus with respect to the best interest of justice prong of the analysis, but that when there was a stipulation to join the two cases, that the defense had concluded that they were sufficiently related, that they ought to be joined? In other words, you're challenging relatedness, and my question is, doesn't the Zwicker letter only go to the issue of best interest of justice?
I don't think so. My recollection of the hearing on the motion to join or the motion to sever, which was also the final pretrial conference, I don't know how in-depth, I can't remember how in-depth counsel for the state and the defense went in to the original calculation or the original analysis of joinder. There wasn't a prior hearing on joinder. And so I don't know if we can be very clear or have a clear understanding that the defense at some point thought there was a relatedness. Or the defense might have thought, just like the state, there may be some efficiencies in trying them together. But as the cases got towards the trial date, it was clear to the defense, as they made clear to the trial court, that they were concerned about the effect of a potential pattern of abuse being used primarily to affect the jury's weighing of evidence on the homicide charges.
At the time that the state initially agreed to joinder, was there a decision made or on the motion to eliminate to prohibit the intrinsic evidence that came in?
I don't know if, I think over a year earlier is when the cases had gotten joined and started towards trial. I don't know at that point whether there was any written agreement or stipulation about evidence, or whether it was tied to the admissibility of other evidence in the case. And the other issue that I want to address this morning has to do with that ruling about some of the evidence that the court determined was intrinsic. I don't think that was there was any agreement that tied the intrinsic evidence issue to the joinder issue.
So the admission of but you would agree, I assume, that the admission of this intrinsic evidence, the assaults and abuse and neglect that occurred in the weeks before the murder, that affected the admission of this assault in July, that it made it compounded.
Correct. Yes. I mean, I think both issues are intertwined in the prejudice that resulted to Mr. Montgomery. And it's, even if we're looking at the joinder issue, I think to your point, the prejudice is not just to his trial on the homicide charge, it's also potentially to the trial on the assault charge, because as you point out, the intrinsic evidence came in as intrinsic to the homicide charges. And certainly it was there in the case for the jury to use in assessing both charges, the assault charge and the homicide charge.
So I want to give you an opportunity to address harmless error, but why don't you proceed with your second argument?
Yes. So with respect to the intrinsic evidence issue, there were two pieces of evidence that I focused on in my brief, and I believe it was error. They were not intrinsic to the homicide-related charges, which is what the trial court found. It was the assaults in the weeks leading up to the homicide, and then the bar of communication. With respect to the assaults, the state, even on appeal, says that those assaults, prior assaults, were necessary and essential to proving reckless intent on the homicide. That simply isn't the case. If you look at the state's evidence on the homicide charge, it's the evidence demonstrated, and the state argued that it demonstrated, that Mr. Montgomery acted recklessly by repeatedly punching HM until she was unconscious. You don't need additional evidence of prior assaults for which there is no allegation was connected to cause of death to prove that reckless mental state.
And all this
Doesn't it show
evidence-
the extreme indifference?
I think the charge itself shows extreme indifference. The evidence on the charged act, if you believe Kayla's testimony, that in and of itself is more than sufficient to establish recklessness. And I will also point out that this was not a mental state defense on the homicide charge. This was a defense that Mr. Montgomery was not the one who caused the death. It was Kayla Montgomery. And so intent on the homicide charge was not a matter in serious dispute. And I would also like to point out is if you're talking about other act evidence being relevant for intent, that's a 404B evidence that's subject to a 404B analysis. That's not an explanation for it being intrinsic to the charge.
Wasn't as the trial court noted, wasn't the jury entitled to some context about events leading up to December 7th?
I don't know why. I mean, context has to be tied to the actual the charged act. I don't know, and I guess this is a question for the state, but what about their evidence and proof on the homicide it has a hole or a gap in it that is impossible for a jury to understand and reasonably assess without having these prior assaults.
To Justice Donovan's point, your yellow light is on,
Yes.
and if you want to get to harmless error.
I do want to get to harmless error. I think that, as I mentioned before, the homicide-related charges rested exclusively on Kayla Montgomery's version of what happened on December 7th. She had significant credibility problems. She gave multiple inconsistent statements to the police before she eventually gave a statement that led to the basis of her trial testimony. She only gave that story after she had been arrested, jailed, and was facing additional jail time. She had theft and other kinds of convictions on her record that raised substantial questions about her credibility. She, according to the state, lied to the grand jury about what happened, and by the time she got to testify in this case, she was serving a prison sentence on perjury. She had significant credibility problems. The admission of all of this other evidence, either through the joinder of the July assault and the prior act evidence leading up to the the homicide, all of that rested on other evidence. And it gave the jury a reason to, even if they likely had substantial doubt about what Kayla said happened on December 7, they could fill in that doubt by relying on the improper admission of the July assault evidence as well as the prior evidence leading up to the homicide.
Thank you, Attorney Phelan. You've reserved 2 minutes. Attorney Gagne?
Good morning, Your Honors. May it please the Court, Sam Gagne for the State of New Hampshire. Your Honors, the trial court committed no error when it denied the defendant's motion to sever, when it admitted intrinsic evidence, or when it admitted the body cam video. But even if it were to be assumed that the trial court did commit an error, any such error was harmless beyond a reasonable doubt given the nature of the errors alleged in this appeal and the overwhelming strength of the state's case, which consisted of eyewitness testimony, numerous witnesses who corroborated that eyewitness testimony, and a mountain of physical evidence, the summit of which held only one conclusion, and the jury reached it.
Do you agree with the defense that the murder conviction rested predominantly on Kayla Montgomery's testimony?
Not necessarily, Your Honor. Certainly her testimony played a large part. She was the eyewitness to what happened on December 7th, 2019. There was no specific evidence to corroborate exactly what happened in that car as far as eyewitness testimony. But to the extent that could not be corroborated and Kayla has credibility issues, so much of what Kayla testified to was corroborated by other testimony and physical evidence that she might not even have been aware of, that it would have become very easy for the jury to later credit her testimony about what happened in that car.
So if we excise the July assault, what evidence corroborates Kayla Montgomery's testimony?
Sure, Your Honor. So beginning with the blood in the ceiling of the Fitz shelter, Kayla testified that the defendant hid Harmony's body in a diaper bag and placed her in the ceiling of the shelter at Families in Transition. When the police went to investigate and cut out that part of the ceiling, it was visibly stained with bodily fluids. The DNA tested positive for Harmony Montgomery's DNA, a profile of which was built using her toothbrush. The defendant's fingerprints and palm prints were all over the vent of that ceiling. The only other fingerprints that were found were of the man who installed the ceiling.
But that only shows corroboration of the post-homicide actions of the defendant.
Sure, Your Honor. My ultimate point here is that all of these pieces of corroborating evidence of Kayla saying he hid her in the ceiling, he put her in the freezer at Portland Pie Company, he used a U-Haul to drive her and dispose of her body, he used lime to break her body down. If all of those things could be corroborated by physical evidence to show that Kayla wasn't lying about those things, it becomes a lot easier to credit her testimony when she says, the look of an evil man in that car is why I didn't do more to stop him from raining blows on her face. That becomes a lot easier to buy once the rest of her testimony is credited, and very, very much of her testimony was. Again, through physical evidence and then through the testimony of other witnesses, such as Travis Beach, a friend of the defendant's. He testifies that, yeah, I helped procure the U-Haul truck. I couldn't get it myself, but my friend Brendan Harris could. Brendan Harris said the same thing, and then the U-Haul records show that Brendan Harris indeed did procure a U-Haul truck. Massachusetts tolls show that the defendant went over the Tobin Bridge in that U-Haul truck on March 4th, 2020 at 4:45 a.m., and he crossed back over going northbound at 5:25 a.m. The records showed that there was about 130 miles put on that U-Haul truck, and by the state's calculation, that would have lined up just about with the trip from the U-Haul back to the Econo Lodge down to about where the defendant allegedly disposed of Harmony's body and back up. So there was significant amounts of corroborating evidence. On top of that, outside of the Econo Lodge, Travis Beach says that he's outside with the defendant smoking a cigarette, and the defendant's pacing back and forth repeatedly saying, I effed up, I effed up, I effed up. And Travis asked him, what are you talking about? And he wouldn't clarify. That's the same night that he disposes of Harmony's body. So the evidence just built upon itself over and over and over again, and that's even before we get to consciousness of guilt evidence of the defendant himself. He tells somebody on a jail call that the efforts to find Harmony's body is just a waste of taxpayer money. One could draw an inference from that yeah, I dumped that in a place you're not going to find it. Additionally, before he was arrested, but well after the murders, the defendant confides in somebody who calls himself a close friend of his that he hated Harmony to his very core because Harmony reminded him of Crystal. That makes it really easy to start believing that this person took on an evil demeanor and rained punches on this 5-year-old girl's head until she was dead.
One of the predicates for the Superior Court's decision to allow the pre-December 7th abuse and neglect of Harmony in was that the court would give a robust instruction to the jury so that it did not take into account those prior acts in order to establish a propensity. Did the Superior Court give that robust instruction? I looked at the instruction and it did not seem to fit that description. Do you recall?
So what I recall, Your Honor, is in in the final instructions to the jury, the court did instruct the jury, as is routine, that each indictment must be considered separately, and it was directly instructed to the jury that a finding on one indictment should not influence a finding on the other.
But there was no instruction on this particular evidence, the intrinsic evidence or the July 2019 assault.
I do not recall that, Your Honor.
I didn't see it.
I do not recall that from the record. Speaking of, just to pick up on that, there was some discussion of the intrinsic evidence causing the July 2019 assaults to bleed into the murder charge, creating that concern of propensity evidence.
Well, how do we reconcile the fact that the trial court limited the intrinsic evidence of abuse and neglect to a very specific time frame of 2 weeks prior to November 29th, and then the time frame between late November and December 7th, yet allowed in, obviously, by not severing the July assault? How do we reconcile that?
So I think they can be reconciled. First, I would note that they are certainly two different issues. One's a joinder issue and one's an intrinsic evidence issue. And I think the trial court took the exact right approach. The trial court was cognizant because the state moved for months of abuse and neglect evidence. Months takes us from November 29th. If months is plural, that's October, September at least. Then it could start getting into August. The trial court, my decision is somewhat here. These are joint charges of abuse into September, August, God forbid, July. These cases might start to bleed together. So if the joinder order is to remain a sustainable exercise of discretion, the court has
The defendant's argument, but none of the evidence and that with respect to the 2 weeks prior to December 7th is material to the crime charged?
Yes, Your Honor. First, I note that Attorney Phelan mentioned she did not understand why any of that was important. I think the easiest way to respond to that before getting into more substantive reasons is, as this court says time and time again in intrinsic evidence cases, events don't happen in a vacuum. This murder did not happen in a vacuum. The whole story is not told by simply recounting the events of December 7th, 2019. If that's all that is told, all you get is that in a vacuum. I'm not saying this would have been the defense or it could have. And events don't happen in a vacuum.
If that's the case, then why was the video from 2 years later, why was that admissible? What's the relevance of Manchester Police's encounter with Mr. Montgomery 2 years after the murder?
So that does continue to tell the entire story of the case, Your Honor, because that is it's really the beginning of the story from the law enforcement perspective. That's how the investigation starts. That's the first interaction law enforcement has with the defendant. It is relevant that when this is reported to the police, what they know is that Harmony is missing. And they say, okay, let's find the defendant because he has custody of Harmony. And it's relevant for the jury to know when the police located the defendant looking for Harmony, where was he? Who was he with? Harmony wasn't there. That's certainly relevant. There is relevance to that. Now, I'm not going to say that the probative value is through the roof on body cam video, but it was relevant. And the reason it was properly admitted is because the risk of unfair prejudice did not substantially outweigh even small probative value. I contend that it was more than minimal probative value, but even if that's what it was, the risk of unfair prejudice did not substantially outweigh that. The prejudice that the defendant has set forth both in the trial court and in this court is really a tenuous risk risk of prejudice that is based on mere conjecture and speculation. This video had no audio. The defendant could not be heard. At defendant's brief, page 41, the defendant says the video shows the defendant seemingly answering questions. In that circumstance, and the defendant argues that the risk of prejudice is that the jury is going to infer somehow that he was not cooperative with police or that his right to remain silent was implicated. But the fact that there's no audio, he's shown answering questions, and that defendants carry into trial a presumption of innocence, there was no rational basis to speculate that the jury would take that video and just imply from it that the defendant was being not cooperative with police in that moment while they were just looking for harmony.
Was there any objection to the testimony about that encounter, separate and apart from the video?
I don't want to say definitively, Your Honor, but I don't believe that there was as I stand here, but my recollection of that is not good enough to answer definitively. Looking quickly to the severance charges, the severance issue, the state notes that, as Justice McDonald pointed out, that the defendant initially moved to join these charges and assented to a motion, and later had a change of heart, which he was entitled to do. The state notes that the case summary, which I don't know is part of the record, but the state could supplement if the court wished for it, seems to show an appearance of another defense counsel between the joinder and the motion to sever. And all of this is really to say that it seems odd that defense counsel at one point in time could have reached this conclusion reasonably and then changed their mind and perhaps reached a different reasonable conclusion, but then argues that the court clearly was unreasonable and untenable in reaching the same conclusion that they had reached earlier. Now, Justice McDonald also asked what changed. As the state argued in the trial court, as far as substantive information, nothing changed. What changed was that some of the stuff is now coming from Kayla. That it's lost on me, as Justice Gould pointed out, how that could impact the relatedness factors. Perhaps it speaks somewhat to the interest of justice issues, but it does not speak to the relatedness factors. Secondly, the July 2019 assault evidence, it's a little bit difficult to game this out because it's sort of hypothetical, but if these charges were severed, it's certainly possible, if not likely, that the July 2019 evidence could have come into the murder trial under Rule 404B. Depending on what the defense and what the state of the facts were, the theories could have been modus operandi, lack of mistake, habit of the defendant in the way he disciplined the child, Harmony, common planner scheme. There's a number of theories that may have come in under anyway. The trial court may have been cognizant of that and thought that was another reason not to try the case twice. But even getting to the Brown factors themselves, the trial court's order is manifestly reasonable. If you go through the 5 factors, the state conceded and the court found there was no temporal and spatial relationship, so that pebble goes on the defendant's scale. The commonality of the victim and the defendant can't be disputed here. That clearly goes on the state's scale. The similarity in the mode of operation. In July 2019, the defendant gets angry at Harmony and he punches her in the face. On December 7, 2019, he gets angry at Harmony and punches her again in the head. I see my red light is on, Your Honor, and so we would ask the courts to affirm the trial court's orders and rest on our papers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Attorney Gagne. Attorney Feeling, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you. With time, I will cover 3 points. Regarding the corroborating evidence, Justice Gould, the state answered your question and talked about substantial, in their view, substantial corroborating evidence. As you pointed out, Justice Gould, the corroborating evidence is all about post-homicide conduct. And Mr. Montgomery at trial did not contest the charges and agreed to the charges of false physical evidence as well as the abuse of corpse information. So the fact that there was corroborating evidence about those events doesn't mean that Kayla's version of what happened on December 7 was any more true. She had substantial reasons herself and credibility problems to not be telling the truth about what happened. Regarding intrinsic evidence, the state used a lot of words in answering some of your questions. The evidence was necessary to complete the story, to give context, to tell the whole story. This court has been very clear, whether it's talking about intrinsic evidence or 404B evidence, that those are usually passwords, or the court has to carefully construe whether those words are passwords for getting in propensity evidence for a propensity purpose. Evidence has to come in for context when it's necessary and essential to proving the charged act. The events leading up to December 7 in those prior weeks were not essential and necessary under the test this court has applied for considering whether it's intrinsic evidence.
Why isn't it relevant to whether the defendant snapped on December 7th?
Well, that wasn't the defense at trial. And until and unless the defense opens the door to that kind of evidence under that theory, it's not admissible. And as we know, as the trial played out, the defense was not that this was a lack of intent. The defense was he didn't do it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, counsel. Case is submitted. Court can recess.
All rise.
So right now we're waiting to see what the Supreme Court ends up deciding to do with this mofo. I hope and pray that they do not give in to his appeal whatsoever. But that was the motions this morning, pretty much. So now they were discussing whether they were going to grant his request for a new trial. Here's the thing. Let me explain something, though. Even if they do grant his thing for a new trial, there's a possibility that it could actually not work in his favor. So don't give up, Miss Justice, because it actually could be worse for him. Instead of getting 56 years plus life, he could technically get the penalty. You get what I'm saying, Miss Justice? So, oh, you're very welcome, Miss Justice. Hey, VV. Hey, honeybee. But so, if in case, let's say he does get this granted appeal for a new trial, you know what we gonna hope for, Miss Justice? We gonna hope they get him with the penalty. That's what we gonna hope. How y'all doing this morning? Hey, honeybee, how you doing? How's everybody's weekend going? How's everybody's week going so far, and all the good things? And anybody got any plans for this weekend? And no, I am going to be. I don't know how long it's going to take them to come back with this information, Miss Justice. But we gonna hope and we gonna pray that when they do come back, and I would guess that they're going to come back after lunchtime, probably, with it being 10 o'clock already. So they're probably going to come back probably after I'm off this live. But we're going to hope and pray that they don't. But even if they do, he don't realize he ain't necessarily winning by doing that. Like, just because you win a possibility for a new trial does not mean that you're going to win the new trial. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drop this link, Miss Justice, if you want to come up, because I know you may have some things to say, child, if you decide to. If you don't, that's also fine. But even if he does get a new trial, that don't mean he's going to win the trial. I know, right? We're going to be awesome like that. What? We're going to party over here, party over there. Hey, Miss Justice.
Thank you, Charlie.
from the bottom of my heart because Kayla and Adam were both involved with Harmony's murder. So that much is complete in my book. Kayla was in jail because of perjury. Perjury because of the COVID payments that released Kayla because of Kayla and Adam having custody of Harmony. Harmony was already dead at this time. So, in essence, the defense, the state processed the information that Kayla was disseminating, and they proved that Adam murdered Harmony. But I know you are in disagreeing with Charlie, but Kayla and Adam were both involved in Harmony's murder. And
I actually believe she had something to do with it. I believe both of them.
yeah,
I think they both need to go down the river. Because here's the thing. I'm going to say this too. This is something else that I believe that I do not believe she should ever be able to have any custody of any child therefore after because but on top of that, I also believe that she should be rotting away in jail for the rest of her life because both of you were supposed to be the adults in this situation taking care of that beautiful child. And neither one of you can even know where the baby's body is to give her a proper burial. No, I think they know. I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to say this. I think they know and won't tell because they know it's going to show up more stuff. I think they know what they did with that baby and are trying to bank on the fact that no one can find her, that they won't get convictions or they won't stay in prison or others, because that's the reason she turned state evidence so she could try to get away with it, right? But I think both them bitches did deserve to rot in prison for the rest of life. In fact, just go ahead and take them out. Take the trash out. You know what I'm saying?
But I believe in Harmony is in heaven and okay, but I believe that Adam threw Harmony's parts of Harmony's body over the Tobin Bridge. And the Tobin Bridge is high. And the Tobin River has ships flowing through. So they knew. But in essence, and I'm trying to word this because of Watcher. Watcher has shaped me to speak what I am speaking. Kayla turned state evidence because if Kayla didn't turn state evidence, we wouldn't have a trial.
That is true.
But
It still don't make us not like her. I mean,
no.
I still
But
think so.
in essence, for me. But when the Union Street was shut, I knew that the Fit Center was being shut simultaneously. All eyes were on the Union Street 2 years ago. They worked on the Fit Center, and the Fit Center was where they came up with Harmony's DNA. So, in essence, I can forgive Kayla for turning state evidence. That's all I can forgive her for. Because that's all. Whew.
I'm gonna say this. I understand the point of view of using her as a state witness because that, but it just kills me that like people like her get to get away with things or get, these deals. You know what I'm saying? So you can prosecute the person
Yep.
who's, the main person or whatnot. But I hate it. It's just like on the when we talk about her face is running through my head right now. The young lady who the guy she had put in a bed with her and the mama on that one is guilty of sin, but she pretty much got you're not going to be prosecuted for anything you say in here, so
Yep.
she could charge state. Stephen Stearns, the mama of Madeline Soto. I wish that she could get got, but obviously they ended up using her for state evidence, same thing pretty much, and gave her, so that he could go to prison, right? And it really kills me. I hate when guilty parties are basically walking this earth like they did nothing.
Yep. Whew. And I thank you, Charlie, for playing that because I thank you.
I know how much this case means to you, Miss Justice, and obviously, I would not if I knowing there's an update, and if we do have an update tomorrow, which we should, we'll have a party over here if he don't get it, and if he does, we'll still have a party because you know what, we're gonna hope that he gets in the wrist, in the arm. You get what I'm saying? But I hope he don't get it. I hope they just leave it the way it is right now because I don't want. Here's the thing: I don't want that baby drugged through any more issues than she already has. She's resting peacefully. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I don't want him to get another trial. I don't want to get him to even get an opportunity. He gets no opportunities in my eyes. He needs to spend those 56 years and life in prison. But even if he does, we're going to think about it is our hope is that it's going to be worse for him.
Yep. And if he does get a new trial, I'm gonna be at the trial to the house come home. It triggers me, but bye bye.
I
Bye bye.
understand. Huggies, Miss Justice. I understand why it triggers you, though. You have a very close connection to this case. You were boots on the ground for that baby. You love that baby just as if that baby's your own. You know what I mean? So I totally understand that one. Good morning, racist stars. Y'all know Frog walked in the building. You know what we got to play if Frog walks in the building. Hold on, let me do it.
I'm Mr. Frog. This is my show. I eat the bug. I'm Mr. Frog. This is my show. I eat the bug. I'm Mr. Frog. This is my show. I eat the bug.
Good morning, Frog. I think I'm going to have to kick Miss Justice down because I think it's just leaving her up. Oh, it finally did it. I was about to say, I think it just left her up there for a minute, didn't it? I have to play that Frog when you come in. But no, yeah, so I can't even believe he's trying for a new trial, the bastard. I hope he burns in the lake fire. I'm just saying. God told me to be a better Christian, but when you hurt a child, I have no feelings to you. And I hope you burn in hell. That's just what I'm saying. I'm sorry. I should not hold certain things or, God tells us to be better than them, if that makes sense. But there's some folks I wouldn't put out if they were on fire. I wouldn't light my cigarette. I wouldn't I wouldn't like nothing off their body because I wouldn't want the toxic fumes to get near me. And I would just go, ha, ha, and laugh if something happened to them. Like, and I know I shouldn't be that way, but I know God told me to be better than them, but child, there's some folks. You know what I'm saying? I just want to say.
Felicia. Bye, Felicia.
That's just what I want to say to them. You know what I'm saying? Some of them folks, I hope to hear this right here when I see them walking down the street. I just want to hear that one good time. You know what I'm saying?
Stranger, stay away from my danger.
I'm just saying, stranger, stay away from my danger. I'm just saying. Some of those people, I just hope they fall off let's go ahead and fall off. Just do you, boo-boo.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's the way they make me feel. Some of them people, I just walk right on by. He's one of them. Anybody who does something to a child, I can't do you. We can't be friends. I ain't cool with you. I love the soundboard, y'all. Y'all know I love the soundboard. I can't help myself. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and do since that was such a tough topic so we can have a good, funny laugh right quick. Hold on.
Bye.
I'm going to fuck you guys. I'm going to fuck you. To fuck you guys. Oh my God. Oh my God. Fuck you guys. I'm sorry, but it's my choice. Yeah, my mom is. Yeah, okay, right. Bullshit.
Blah.
Okay, I just had to have a little bit of a good laugh after all that. That is true. That's one good thing, Mix, is that one thing that gives you comfort in this messed up world is you can't escape karma, no matter how hard you try, good or bad. Because karma, I'm glad I could give you that laugh, Miss Justice, because you need it, child. It's a stressful situation. But yeah, no, I'm sitting here chilling right now, drinking my coffee. Oh, this coffee's so good too. Oh, let me. I love that dang. It's so good. Y'all, I'm having a moment with my coffee. And Watcher stole my cake, and she didn't return it. No. She bought me cake and still stole that cake too. No, that's always I wrote a joke. She's stealing my cake. Let me see what's going on this morning. Just trying to see what's going on this morning, see if there's anything else that we should I'm just trying to make sure I ain't missing nothing. Oh, y'all got to see the pretty kitty. Miss Gamecock Jenny has such a pretty, his name's Morris. He's so cute. Y'all know I love animals. But look at him, man. He's so cute. Oh, I think he looks up at the camera. Oh, he does. Look at him. Look at him, man. He's so cute. She got that baby so spoiled. He knows it too. Look at that little face. Look at that little face. Miss Gamecock Jenny, he's so cute. Yeah, cake theft at its finest, man. They be stealing all my cake. He's so cute. He knows it too. He knows it. Morris knows he's a cutie pie. Y'all look at that little face. He's so cute. Spoiled already. He's spoiled. I know it's like pet me meow. Naziah, it's Naziah Harris case. Let me tell y'all when that one's going down, because y'all know I've been waiting on that one. It says right here, man accused of illing Naziah Harris appears in court on separate sexual assault case. The man accused of sexually assaulting his relative, who is also facing charges for allegedly killing a Detroit teen who went missing on January 2024, appeared on court on Wednesday. Jarvis Butts, who was charged with sexually assaulting and murdering 13-year-old Naziah Harris, appears on court on October the 8th. Hold on, let me pause this right quick. Dang, I got all these ads popping up, and I'll show y'all what his appearance in court is. Butts was charged on September 26, 2025, with sexual assault of an 8-year-old relative. Authorities said he sexually assaulted the child between June 2021 and June 2022 at an auto repair shop in Detroit. He appeared on court on October the 8th for a probable cause hearing. Butts appeared via Zoom. In the hearing, Judge Sean Jacqui scheduled Butts' preliminary hearing for October the 22nd at 1:30 p.m., where he will determine if there is enough evidence in the case to send it to trial. Butts' trial in the Naziah Harris case was initially scheduled to begin in October, but it was pushed to February. So it was pushed back again, child. Ugh, again. But basically, he has other charges of essaying children. Yeah. He's already been convicted in the past for a 4-year-old, and they still let him be around kids. I think the grandmama in that case and the auntie need to be put under the prison. Not in the prison, under the prison. They let these kids go with this man knowing he had a conviction. A conviction. He had spent years in prison for this. And they let the kids just go with him. Oh, yeah, no, just take all my kids knowing you're a convicted pedo. You know what I'm saying? Just go ahead, take these little girls that are 8 and 9 years old, knowing you just like you got convicted of doing that to a baby and gave it an STD. Yeah, he gave a baby an STD. Yeah, it's the most messed up shit you have ever seen, ever. Like, he had been convicted previously. And the family knew about it. The aunt knew about it. Let's see if I can find exactly how old that child was. But they knew this man. Okay, in addition to announcing the charges on the Harris case, Worthy has also charged Butts with sexually abusing 2 other children who were under 13 at the time. Worthy said that one of the victims, who is now 20, was allegedly abused between April 2012 and April 14th, while the other victims, who is now 11, was abused between July of 2015 until July of 2017, and has been charged with 5 counts of second-degree criminal sexual conduct and 1 count of first-degree criminal sexual conduct for those assaults. Court records show that Butts also previously served time in prison for sexually assaulting a child in 2004. Mr. Butts targeted and befriended women to have actual relationships with their young daughters. He was a classic and expert groomer and pedophile. Butts is expected to be arraigned on Friday morning. He's already been... we're waiting on the trial now, pretty much. He's been arraigned. We're waiting on the trial, pretty much, for Neziah. It's been pushed back. He also had, Neziah would be alive today if they had got him. He had gotten gun charges and was released. It was supposed to revoke his parole. It didn't. He wasn't supposed to be in possession of a gun because he's a felon. And they let him go. And if they had put him behind bars right then and there, Neziah would be alive today. Neziah would be alive today. And they say that he had been messing with these kids since they were 8 and 9 years old. And the one he was convicted of in 2004, if I'm not mistaken, was like 2 or 4 years old, something like that. And he gave that child an STD. The conviction in 2004, the child was a baby, pretty much, in my eyes. Let me look. Jarvis Butts, 2004. Sexual assault charge. Let's see if we can find... I'm trying to find his the past thing, because I found it on another thing that when I was reading it, when I was covering this case, it said what he was previously convicted of and how old the child was. Like, the child was a baby. Like when I say baby, I mean, yeah. It says Jarvis Butts charged in Isaiah Harris' death, now accused of sexually assaulting 8-year-old daughter, his own 8-year-old daughter, which now makes it 4 victims. Court records show Jarvis Ramon Butts, 42, charged and arraigned today on new accounts of first-degree CSC 1 and second-degree CSC 2. Prosecutors say the new case involves allegation that he raped his daughter at his workplace multiple times when she was 8. Naziah Harris disappeared on January the 9th, 2024, after getting off the bus on Detroit's east side. Her body was not found, but investigators say digital evidence, phone records, witness statements, and forensic material links Butts to her death. He was previously charged with first-degree premeditated murder, second-degree CSC involving a victim under 13. A Wayne County judge ordered him to stand trial. Earlier sexual assault allegations. 2013, Allen Park. Butts is accused of sexually assaulting a 12-year-old girl and faces first and third-degree criminal sexual conduct charges. From 2012 to 2014, another child was allegedly abused between the ages of 8 to 10. 2015-2017, a separate victim was allegedly abused between the ages of 4 and 6. Those cases resulted in multiple counts of first and second degree criminal sexual conduct, but remains in custody of the original murder and sexual assault cases while the newly filed charges move forward in court. And he was also previously convicted in 2004. I'm trying to find that right now, but let's see. It's keep popping up the new charges instead of the old ones. Court records show Butts also previously served time in prison for sexually assaulting a child in 2004. Maybe this one has it. Let's see. Court record. What's name? Let's see. I'm reading over the things right quick, trying to some of these new things are not showing up his old past history, but I'm gonna, maybe it's in, okay, so maybe this one right here might have it. This is from The Root. It's called the thing. Okay, so that's same information. I'm trying to okay, so this is the one. Here it is. He did it to a 4-year-old and gave the 4-year-old chlamydia. That was the one that he actually went to prison for. He actually went to prison in 2004. Okay, Butts was convicted in 2005 of third-degree criminal sexual conduct. In that case, he admitted to having sex with a child and was sentenced to 7 years. He is not only facing criminal charges for sexually abusing 2 other girls, but prosecutors said he assaulted an 8-year-old family member and transmitted chlamydia to his girlfriend's 4-year-old daughter. An 8-year-old family member and a 4-year-old child in 2005. So they knew, the family knew. Reports indicate that Harris's family contacted Child Protective Services about Butts before Harris's disappearance, and they believed he was having inappropriate contact with her and other children. So the family, a lot of the other family, tried to call CPS and report that this child was being SA'd. And it goes right here. Prosecutors believe Butts killed Harris because he did not want Harris having his child while he was in the custody for an unrelated gun case. Butts was expected to turn himself in the same day Harris vanished. So if they'd actually, when they got him on the gun case, put him in jail that day, Harris would still be alive. Naziah would still be alive. District Judge Elias Sibry ruled Thursday the case will go to trial. While handing down the ruling, she called attention to Harris's grandmother, who waited the next morning to report Harris missing, even though she had no history of running away. How were there 2 women in that house who had birthed children themselves who did not notice Naziah was pregnant? And I believe she was, and not having her period anymore. How was there women in that house who, in my opinion, this is my personal opinion, this comes from me, allowing this man, knowing he was a convicted sex offender, around children? Hell no. Those women need to go to jail too. I'm sorry, but they need charges for child neglect, child endangerment, and that's for every single child that was in that home. Even the boys, they need child neglect and child endangerment charges. And they should be considered accessories to what happened to Naziah. And his business partner, who knew he was doing these things, his business partner can't claim he's innocent. He can't claim he's innocent. I hope anybody who does that to a child burns in hell. That's just my personal opinion. I'm going to move off that subject because that subject pisses me off. I don't know about y'all, but those kind of things kind of make me angry. Oh, and I'm sitting here. Did y'all hear my dog? She's snoring like hell. Listen. She is snoring, y'all. She's having her a good old dream. Did the mic pick it up? Did y'all hear her little snores? That's the cutest shit. That is the cutest thing. I love her little face. I love her little face, and she knows it. That's my butt. She snores when she sleeps. It's making me sleepy over here, though, y'all. It's almost putting me to sleep. I'm sitting up here going, oh, I'm going to go fall asleep. She's sleeping so good. It's so cute. But before we get off here today, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play us some laughter. And we're going to have a good little fun time. And then today we're just going to chill. And if any haters try to do anything, we're going to put our middle fingers in the air and tell them to go straight to hell. Yes, we are.
I'm going to fuck you guys. I'm going to fuck you. Fuck you guys. My God. Fuck about you guys. I'm sorry, but it's my choice. Yeah, my mom is. Yeah, okay, right. Bullshit.
Blah. Oh my God.
Bye.
I'll go. I'll walk. Wait. Thank you. Go on. Alright, see you soon.
Had to have us a funny little laugh because I love watchers laugh. I'm gonna tell you that. That was the funniest laugh. I love listening to the funny laughs. And I get to laughing and I get to crying. Y'all some funny mofos. I just want to say thank you to everybody that shows up, shows out every damn day on this platform. And I want to thank you all and hope you all have the most blessed, beautiful day that you could possibly have, right? And I'm gonna see who's live right now. See who's all live. I'm gonna refresh my YouTubes. Okay, so we have Miss Bambi Palermo, YTC Cameras, Court TV, Miss Ronnie IQ, Blue Goddess Boom Boom Room. We have Ben Zone. We have Auntie Fee About the Facts. Bullhorn Betty is live. Fee is live. I Got the Drop TV. Jimmy Newman is live. And we have Dirty D32 Truth Sector Celebrity YouTube channel. They're all live right now. If you know anybody that is live and you would like to, tell folks, all about it and whatnot, and that way they know where they could go to get all the news you could use. Just go ahead and put it in the chat and tell folks. If you got a mod stick, drop the links. Drop the links. You know what I mean? I'm probably gonna chill out. I'm tired. All this traveling, all this stuff. I gotta call up to the dentist office and ask them what day is his damn for his braces, so I'll remember again, because I done forgot what damn day it was. Because I am not all there this morning. So I got to call up there and do that. And then I'm going to try to take me a damn nap because I'm already tired. And I just woke up like 2 hours ago. Coffee didn't do a thing. I'm going to try. I'm going to try to take a nap, damn it. But my ADHD says, bitch, who the fuck you think you are? You ain't taking no damn nap today. You know what I'm saying? But all this stuff and all just running around all the time, it's got me a little tired, But I'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? And I hope you all have the best day today. Eat you some good food. Flip a bitch off if you got to. And just know that I love you, and be as messy as you want to be today. Cuss a hoe out if you need to. And, Huggies, Mr. Jim Connie, the best gym, the only gym that ever was and ever will be. That's the only gym that we care about over here. Just saying. And Miss Justice, I love you so much, and I'm hoping that with the Anna Montgomery thing, we get to celebrate. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, don't even flip them off. They don't even deserve that, do they, Frog? Mm-hmm. Just flip them literally. That's a good one, Frog. I'm stretching right quick. Oh, God, my back. My neck and my back. Okay, anyway. I'm going to sue you. I need to get that one on the soundboard, don't I? But I'll settle out of court right now. The one for Friday, y'all, that was the best. I love y'all so much. Y'all don't realize how much I really do care. And I want to give you huggies and lovies, and I'll see y'all later, okay? I love you, my angels. Also, remember to wash your ass, wash your face, preferably not with the same rag, because we don't want you walking around here with ass face, okay? Please wash your ass. Don't be walking around here with shit stains in your drawers and dingleberries. We don't need all that. Wash your ass, please. Please make sure you put on Dio for the BO, because bitches, we don't need you running around here stinking and being musky, okay? And remember, don't just wash it, dry it, because we don't want you smelling like some stanky ass mildew old water or something. And use some dry spray. It works great. And please make sure you brush your teeth and wash your mouth out. We don't want you walking around here with halitosis breath like some of these motherfuckers be doing. And please just take care of yourself, and no bushfires either. Please keep it neat and tidy. And if you got fat thighs or thick thighs that save lives, they make something called friction relief. So you won't be around here starting a fire with your thighs. I'm just saying, it's called friction relief. Works great. Okay, then that's just a tip for my thick thighs to save lives, for my ladies with the thighs. Okay, if you got thick thighs to save lives, they got something called friction relief, so you won't be walking around here with a fire in your underwear. I'm just saying. And if you are burning down there, please go to the doctor. Something is wrong. If you have a smell, please go to the doctor. Wash your balls, wash your vaginas, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. And please, whatever you do, don't wipe back to front, okay? Please, we don't need that being a shitty situation. All right, okay. And drugs are bad, okay? Drugs are bad. Y'all have a good day. All right, now you here? Love you. I'm back.
The TUPELO, I'm reppin' my hood, so love I'm gon' show. From the TUPELO, I'm reppin' my hood to the day that I go. From the TUPELO, I'm reppin' my hood, so love I'm gon' show. From the TUPELO, I'm ripping my hood to the day that I go.
I'm from the west side, we don't need no introduction, this was the best ride. We all big boy rolling and holding, come take a test drive. Hilldale, Evergreen, Glenkirk, Outer Street, bending every corner on the west, and that's where I'll be. Sunroof back, Captain C banging down 1800, chunking up the deuce to my post slanging down on 1800. Show no love to the ladies that's training round on 1800, making time stand still, crystalline swinging down on 1800. Watching out for them knuckleheads that be stanging round on 1800. Big rims and low pros be blanging round on 1800. Better completely change the way you're thinking about round 1800. Really hate to see you boys get left slanking round 1800. Out the street got some history, just let Captain C lay it out. If I don't finish it all on this one, let the second verse break it out. Remember the blue apartments from OG standing back there by 60 deep. Bull walking, car blue, a big Anthony Hughes and P.
I'm from the TUPELO, I'm reppin' my